When it comes to gun culture and gun control, we are different in Canada from our American neighbors. On Vancouver Island, gun owners and gun shops that we spoke to today were hesitant to even talk about it. CTV's Andrew Johnson reports.
If you're interested in anything displayed on the gun rack at Gone Fishin, put the debit card back in your pocket until you've completed the Canadian Firearms Safety Course.
There's a written as well as a practical test. Once you've completed that, you get your results, you send it into the Canadian Firearms Centre over in Miramichi. Once they get it, essentially they have a waiting period.
Leggett says you also need 3 references, and if you're interested in a restricted license for handguns or long guns, you'll be waiting at least a couple of months.
You have to have faith in the government system, and it's proven that it's worked. The licensing, I think, is probably your hands-down biggest difference between here and our neighbors to the south, and that alone, I think, has prevented a lot of people that shouldn't be owning firearms to own firearms.
Although millions of Canadians own firearms, close to 100,000 licenses were issued in 2011 alone, the subject seems to be a touchy one given the recent string of tragedies in the U.S. We spoke to several gun shops today who declined interviews, and then we stopped by the local shooting range, where the responsible gun owners made sure we kept our camera well out of sight. We got some evidence today of just how different Canadian attitudes toward guns are when we stopped by the Victoria Fish and Game Association's range here on the Malahat. We asked a group of gun owners if they'd like to weigh in on what's going on in the U.S., and they said absolutely not. They're not comfortable appearing on television shooting guns, and they certainly don't want anyone to know they own one.
I realize that,
This Royal Roads University professor who grew up in the United States says you won't get that reaction where he comes from.
The NRA will actually give you decals to put on your windows saying, I am a proud gun owner. So as a deterrent to people that might otherwise enter your home, to say, you know what, you might get shot if you enter this home, and there's case law to protect that sort of behavior in the States.
He points out in Canada we primarily associate gun ownership with hunting and law enforcement. And that makes us very different from the country we share a border with. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Victoria.